You're standing at the checkout screen, staring at another workstation and wondering if it's really going to move the needle for the projects you're juggling. You don't want to drop a chunk of cash on a machine that sits idle most days, and you certainly don't want to end up with something that can't keep up when the deadline hits. That hesitation is real, especially when you're trying to balance performance, future-proofing, and price. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down the Dell Precision 30003650 and see whether it earns its workstation badge for everyday professionals or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. First off, this isn't a flashy gaming rig, it's a tower built for reliability in an office or studio environment. The heart of the box is a 10th Gen Intel Core i7-10700, an 8-core processor that tops out at 2.9 GHz. In practice, that means you can fire up multiple instances of Photoshop, run a full Visual Studio solution, or have a couple of virtual machines humming along without feeling the lag that a 4-core chip would give you. If you spend a lot of time with large design files, think AutoCAD drawings, SolidWorks assemblies, or high-resolution video timelines, the extra cores become noticeable. I've watched engineers in a small architecture firm load a 500-page PDF set with embedded 3D models, open a Revit project, and still run Outlook and Teams without the system stuttering. That's the sort of real-world multitasking that the i7-10700 handles well, especially when paired with the 16 GB of DDR4 RAM that comes stock. 16 GB isn't a gold standard for today's most demanding render farms, but for a single user who's juggling a few heavy apps, it's comfortably sufficient. You won't see your screen freeze the moment you add another layer in After Effects, but if you plan on running GPU-intensive simulations all day, you'll probably want to upgrade the memory and add a dedicated graphics card later. The storage story is also worth mentioning. A 512 GB SSD gives you quick boot times and snappy file access. I've seen video editors copy a 30 GB 4K clip onto the drive and start cutting within seconds. The downside is that 512 GB can fill up quickly if you're storing raw footage or large CAD libraries. The good news is that the 3650 is a tower with accessible drive bays, so adding a secondary SSD or a larger HDD is straightforward. Just keep in mind that the default configuration leaves you with a single drive, so you might have to plan your data workflow around that. Connectivity is another area where Dell leans into the professional side. Gigabit Ethernet is built in, delivering reliable, high-throughput networking that's essential for studios where large files are pulled from a central server. If you're used to Wi-Fi jitter slowing down file transfers, you'll notice the difference right away. There are also plenty of USB ports, a DisplayPort, and a legacy VGA output for older monitors, a small but handy nod to mixed environment offices. Now, let's talk about the power supply and what it means for you. The box ships with a 460W PSU, which is more than enough for the base configuration, but it also gives you headroom if you decide to add a mid-range workstation GPU later. That flexibility is a real strength because it means you can start modest and scale up as your workload grows, without having to replace the whole system. On the flip side, the PSU isn't a modular unit, so cable management inside the case can get a bit messy if you're particular about airflow. It's not a deal-breaker, just something to be aware of when you open the chassis. The operating system is Windows 10 Pro, which is the version most businesses standardize on for its security and management tools. If you're already in a domain environment or rely on BitLocker, you won't need to do any extra setup. For freelancers who might be using a home office, the Pro Edition still gives you the ability to join a network share and use remote desktop, which can be a subtle productivity boost. So, who should actually buy this machine? If you're a designer, engineer, or video editor who works from a dedicated desk and needs a dependable platform that can handle multi-app workloads without breaking a sweat, the Precision 30003650 hits a sweet spot. It's also a solid choice for small businesses that want a standard workstation for each employee, because Dell's support ecosystem and the Pro OS make deployment easier. The value comes not from flashy graphics performance but from the combination of a solid CPU, decent memory, fast storage, and a chassis that you can upgrade over time. Who should skip it? If you're looking for a portable solution, a gaming rig, or a budget box for light web browsing and office work, you're probably overpaying. The i7-10700 is more power than you'll ever need for email, spreadsheets, or streaming video, and the tower form factor adds unnecessary heft if you need to move around. Also, if you already know you'll need a high-end GPU for